welcome to Dateline Abuja, your weekly general TV magazine program on AIT. I'm Hawa Momo. Thank God it's Wednesday and happy Eid al-Fitr to all our Muslim viewers. Well, first on our lineup for the show, we bring you stories that made the headlines.
Nyesom Wike, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT Abuja, has put an 8-month hold on all events planned at the International Conference Center. The minister expressed disappointment with the previous administration of the establishment, pointing out that the center had been allowed to fall into disrepair. He said that after giving it to the Messrs. Julius Vieja Limited, the facility's original designers for renovation, the project was turned over to the management of the Abuja Investment Company Limited.
You and I know that it's unacceptable. There's no way you can accept this as an international conference center. We're sorry to announce this. Every booking meant to be used here is cancelled because we'll start immediate rehabilitation of this center to meet up with international standard. So that when you come, you tell people you are going to the international conference center, you'll be happy. You know, nobody have to manage. We're not going to allow anybody to use it again for 7-8 months until when the job is completed.
The Abuja Rail Mass Transit project is 97% finished. This is according to FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. This is a dream come true project that will be ready for inauguration in May to commemorate President Bola Tinubu's one-year term in office. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike made this statement during a train system inspection. African Democratic Congress, ADC, has bemoaned the current condition of things in the nation, claiming that the message of renewed hope presented by the current administration is no longer enough. Ravs Oke Nwosu, the national chairman of the ADC, while addressing a world press conference at the national headquarters of the party in Abuja, stated that the general level of life has declined despite the federal government's promises. The nation's roads remain unsafe, transportation costs are unaffordable, food is unaffordable, security of life and property and general standard of living has taken a nosedive even though our country is not at war, Nwosu said, reading from a text entitled "Hope is no longer enough. Action is what is needed." They have continued to make the sacrifices of nation building under a harsh and tyrannical political environment.
And now we bring you update from the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, Nilds. The Director General of the Institute, Professor Abubakar Suleiman, has highlighted the urgent need for legislative reforms to ensure women's meaningful representation in security sectors, aligning with global norms. Mr. Peter Mancha, a representative of the Nigerian UN Women lauded Nigeria's recorded progress towards implementing the national action plans on women, peace and security, and urged legislative amendments to enhance women's holistic participation at all levels. The event's highlight was the progress and project narrative report presentation. Let's take a listen.
In a groundbreaking collaboration aimed at fostering gender-responsive security operations in Nigeria, the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, Nilds, alongside the United Nations Women and the National Assembly, convened stakeholders for a press briefing on Thursday, April 4th, 2024, at the Nilds permanent site, Piwoyi District, Airport Road, Abuja. Professor Abubakar Sulaiman, Director General of Nilds, emphasized the imperative of bridging gender gaps within security sector policies and operations. He underscored the need for legislative reforms to ensure women's meaningful representation, aligning with global norms such as the United Nations Security Council Resolution, UNSCR 1325.
Let me start by commending our team of experts in collaboration with UN Women for this giant stride, for this bold initiative to strengthen gender-responsive security sector policy reforms and implementation of gender policy adopted by target security institutions. Gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, the overall objective of this project is to sensitize the National Assembly, our lawmakers, who by all intent and purposes remain the epitome of democracy, and to enlighten the security sector institutions on the need to make their laws, their acts, gender responsive. Indeed, Nigerian security sector institutions remain major actors not only in the prevention and response to security issues in Nigeria, but also to strategic conflict resolutions and peace-building initiatives. While the security sector institutions have strove on several occasions to achieve their mandates over the years, huge gender gaps are visible in their policies and operational procedures at all levels, as well as their enabling legislations. Yet, ensuring women's meaningful representation in the security sector is critical to building an inclusive, responsive, and accountable security sector that reflects the diversity of the community it serves and better respond to their needs. This has been increasingly identified as a key strategy and supported by global normative frameworks, including the United Nations Security Council resolution.
Representing UN Women Nigeria's country representatives, Ms. Beatrice Eyong and Mr. Peter Mancha articulated the significance of UNSCR 1325 in promoting gender mainstreaming across peace-building, conflict resolution, and decision-making processes. He applauded Nigeria's strides in developing its third National Action Plan, acknowledging the adoption of gender policies by crucial security agencies like the Nigerian Army, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, and the Nigerian Police, among others. Mr. Mancha emphasized the necessity of legislative amendments to enhance women's participation in security sectors, urging traditional institutions to emulate progressive examples set by the Emir of Kaltungo in Gombe State by mainstreaming women's voices in peace building and conflict resolution.
I think the 10th Assembly, there is hope in terms of gender responsiveness. For the very first time, the Speaker of the House of Reps hosted a conference to mark the International Women's Day, and I was there and we saw the commitment he has made. In fact, we haven't seen that kind of commitment in the past. The same thing with the Senate. We have some engagement and they are all positive. In fact, they have developed an agenda to ensure that they are gender responsive. In fact, they told us that those 5 bills that were thrown out will be revisited and they will take action to ensure that. So just to let the press know that there is high hope for this 10th Assembly and all they need from us is support and cooperation. We cannot go further in this development journey without the half of our population. Women constitute about 50%. You know that women have potential that we must utilize. And because of that best practice in Gombe State, Plateau State now have 107 women in the traditional council from a baseline of 0, because the traditional council also saw the potentials of women and the changes they can make. In Adamawa State, they have over 400 women in the traditional council. Now, in the past, these areas are exclusively reserved for men, but this traditional institution come to realize that change is inevitable. The only constant thing in life is change. Now, if our great-grandparents excluded women in certain positions, they did it out of ignorance. We cannot continue in that path because we are more exposed, we are more enlightened. What we know, they didn't know. So this is the time for change.
In his opening remarks, Dr. Adewale Aderemi, Director of Democracy and Governance at Nilds, provided insights into ongoing efforts to address gender disparities within Nigeria's security frameworks. He highlighted the progress in bridging gender perspectives across various government institutions and security sectors.
A multi-stakeholder, activity. We interacted with almost all the security sector institutions at the highest level, and fortunately was productive in the sense that the 10 activities we carried out under this project, and the about 10 or so results that we achieved, showed us the gaps, in gender perspective on the security framework of these institutions, which hopefully, I don't want to preempt the launch of the report or the content of it. We find, and it was a very rewarding experience as well, because the several agencies that we worked with, MDAs, the security sector institutions, the military, the NSCDC, all of them, was a very collaborative effort that has yielded what we are going to present to you today. So I welcome you to Nilds, and I want to thank you, particularly you and women, for giving us the opportunity to be part of the second phase of this project. We were not part of the first phase, but we were invited to implement in the second phase. And what you find before us today that we're going to launch will be the report of what we did in the past 2 years.
In an interactive interview with Dateline Abuja, Mr. Mancha reiterated the importance of women's education in advocating for their involvement in peace building and leadership roles.
The first step is to get education, because education will expose you to understand the dynamics of conflict and how you can embrace diversity. One of the challenges we have in Nigeria is some people feel the conflict we face is based on the fact that Nigeria is a diverse country, but I totally disagree. Diversity is a strength, but because people are not educated to understand the strength in diversity, they fail to maximize that opportunity we have. The United States of America is a diverse country. They don't have the kind of conflicts we have. And if you are educated, you know the values of humanity, the dignity of humanity, and the last thing you want to do is to cause harm just for you to achieve your selfish interests. So education is key, and it's important to create an enabling environment, especially for women and girls who are often excluded because of culture, discriminatory cultural practices. They are excluded to acquire formal education. And that is one of the major challenges we have when it comes to peace and security.
The event's pinnacle was marked by the public display and presentation of the Project Narrative Progress Report, Enhancing Gender-Responsive Security Operations and Community Dialogue Project, a collaborative effort between Nilds and UN Women conducted from September to December 2023.